Podcast, and I am in a very foul mood today. Because you know what? I feel like I've been used. I feel like my sport has been used. As you guys know, this past weekend, so July 16th to the 19th, was Flavor Flap's She Weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not that we heard anything about it. Do you hear about it? Do you hear about it? Everybody? Everybody hear about it? No! No. So in case you've forgotten, the idea behind the She Weekend was basically Flavor Flav, basically his attempt to respond to, obviously, the disgusting, distasteful, and dare I say, misogynistic joke made by the current president of the United States. He basically did it as a response to that joke and saying that, that he felt that women's sports should be celebrated, not made a mockery of. And I remember the time thinking, okay, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. We'll do it in the summer when obviously it's the off season, although technically we have got, international teams camps starting up really soon because we are expecting the Euro hockey tour to begin in August. So technically we aren't off season, but we're not in off season. Some nations will be having hockey camps throughout the summer. I imagine the US and Canada will probably do that too, just to get ready for the Worlds in November. But we'll do July where there's no actual games being played and all that. Okay, great. At the time, I thought, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. We'll take what we get. If somebody wants to come and celebrate our sport, great, do that. As it. But as it got closer to the weekend, I just kind of felt, do you know what's the point of doing it anymore? Like, literally, what's the point of doing it anymore? Because, for me, enough time has passed where I'm not focusing on that distasteful joke anymore. As you guys know, I did do an episode on it. I did eventually, after a lot of soul searching, I did decide to do an episode on it, and I covered that. It was a really hard episode to do, but I did do it in the end. And that for me was basically, okay, I'll do that episode and then I'm going to move on. I'm not going to focus on it anymore. I'm going to get back to what I'm here to do, which is basically to help grow women's hockey and grow the awareness of the Professional Women's Hockey League as your day one advocate. Okay? That's my role. That is my role. That is what I'm here to do. So when it came to this past weekend, I was like, I've moved on. I honestly, I don't really see what's the point in doing it anymore because I've literally, just moved on. I've not really thought about it since. And this week I was it was basically going to remind me of, all those not very nice feelings, that I had during that, week following what was a really amazing tournament. I think Milan Cortina is going to be up there as one of the best Olympic tournaments that I've seen. And it's because it was the first one where I was really heavily involved, and not just watching the sport. I also really got stuck in it as well, behind the scenes. Anyway, yeah. But if you're this big celebrity and you're gonna do this kind of event, the least you can do is plaster it all over the socials, okay? We live in a digital world where social media has become a huge phenomenon. Literally everybody has at least one form of social media accounts, okay? I can run you through mine. Obviously, I've got YouTube, I've got podcasts, I've got Blue Sky. Really love Blue Sky, by the way. There are one or two dickheads on Blue Sky, but most of it's nice and pleasant and positive. So I've got Blue Sky, and I've also got Instagram. Of course, as you guys know, Instagram is where I do the majority of promotional side for the PWHL. Okay, so I've got my socials. Okay, everyone has at least one form of social media. Therefore, I should be expecting you to be plastering this all over the place because it did right. It did with me. I actually did say to put a lady, and also the rest of the pack as well. Literally the other day. It is with me. If I was going to be doing an event to promote women's hockey in the famous streets of Manchester or Salford, right? Okay. If I was going to do that, I would not want it to be a quiet event. I would be wanting literally anybody and everybody to be just plastering it all on the socials and let people know that this event is going on. Okay? Because I'm sure a lot of planning went into this. I'm sure a lot of dollars got thrown into this. And yet what? For it to be a whimper. And I'm like, did my sport basically just get used because somebody was bored during the summer months and has got nothing better to do in his life? Is that what's happened here? Because I've got a feeling we've been used. Like, there was no mention on the hockey news, no mention on that, which of course is a great source for a lot of news, which I do get regarding the women's game. Although most of the time these days it's just Ian Kennedy mouthing off stupid things. Anyway, apart from that, most of the time, 90% of the time it's good, but 10% it's a bit rubbish. So the articles that come on that site, you know, nothing there, nothing on my socials, nothing to say nothing to say there any PHL players there. You know, like seriously, did we just get used? Have we just been played for a fool? You know, what was the? And plus, what is the Flavor Flask credentials anyway? I mean, I never even heard of the guy until he basically came in defense of the women's teams following the joke. Okay, I'd not even heard the guy beforehand. Okay, and you know what? The weekend's now been gone, and I still have no clue who this guy is. I still have no clue who he is, what he stands for. Okay, so what's his credentials to, you know, saying that he could be a cheerleader for women's sports? Okay, has he had years and years of following the game? Has he had over the years been watched an actual game in person? Because here's my credentials flavour. I've been involved with the women's hockey for 16 years. I've got 5 Olympics now under my belts, 2 World Championships, so this one coming up in November is going to be my 3rd. And I've also now got 3 PWHL seasons with my Minnesota Frost under the belt. Okay? I think I've got more experience than he has when it comes to being involved with women's hockey. So what the fuck was this all about? I've not seen any of it. Even if you try and Google it online, I'm going to do it again now. Okay, I'm going to do that now, just to prove my point even more. Okay, just to prove my point even further. Okay, so if you type into Google, She Weekend, there's hardly anything about it. Let's go on the news tab. Like, nothing. Nothing. Nothing about it. Nothing from the event at all. Nothing. You know, absolutely just nothing. Nothing. It's ridiculous. It just makes me wonder sometimes, are we still not being taken seriously? Are we still not being taken seriously as a professional sports? You know, seriously, is that what's happening here, guys? Is that really what's happening here? You know, I think this just shows why we can't rest on our morals. I mean, we've done brilliantly, we've done so well the last 3 years, but we have to go further. We literally have to go further. And I just feel like, you know what? It would have been better if you just write out a check for, like, say, I don't know, $1 million. Just write a check up at that and donate it to programs that can help fund women's game. Hey, if you live in Nevada, then why not just write a check to help fund, women's hockey programs in Nevada, especially as we know that PWHL Las Vegas is going to be making their debut next season. The 2026-27 season, PWHL Las Vegas will make its debut. So if he calls Nevada his home, then why not just write a check out and give that money to programs in the state of Nevada that could help grow the next generation of PWHL Las Vegas players. Okay, because that team is coming in just a few short months' time. It's going to be playing its games alongside the Golden Brats in T-Mobile Arena. So if he really wants to make a big deal, then why not have just donated money to programs in Nevada that can help, fund programs to help develop women's hockey in the state? Why not just done that instead? Why go to all the effort of coming up with the idea for this weekend, this big event, and it just basically be like a damp squid? Because it was announced with a bang, but it arrived with a whimper. Okay, it's just dreadful. Just that's really bad, and I just find it so insulting because we had no coverage on this. With no media coverage on it. I was prepared today to basically come to this episode and we could talk about what happened, go through the various different PHL players that were there, but we can't because I don't recall any PHL players being there. I saw nothing on my social. I even on the Saturday, I even posted about it on Blue Sky, and in fact, I'll read my post out to you guys. Okay, I'll read out what I posted on Blue Sky. In full. So this is on the Saturday. Okay. So on the Saturday, I posted this on Blue Sky. I'm going to read it out in full. This is what I posted on Blue Sky on the Saturday. This weekend was Flavor Flab's She Weekend, and I've neither seen or heard anything about it online. And don't in the replies give me that shit about no one watches women's sports because we do. I'm an advocate to at thephl.com, and if I was having an event, I would shout it from the rooftops. Okay? That is what I posted on my Blue Sky over the weekend. It was the Saturday, it might be the hours of the Sunday morning. Okay? I posted that on Blue Sky because I saw nothing. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. So, really, what was the point of this weekend if it was going to be like a damp squid? Okay? Not really like something really posting pictures on it online, or any of the teams getting to say, oh look, here's who was at Nevada for us. Where was PWHL Las Vegas when you needed them, mate? What were they doing? It's really making my blood boil because I will not allow this sport to be used like that. I will not. I'm not having it. Okay, you guys know how much of a diehard I am to women's game. You know I will defend this game to the hills. Okay, so I will not tolerate this sport that I put 16 years into. I will not tolerate it being abused like that. I won't. If you want to help us grow the women's game, fine, please do. But you gotta actually mean it and put your money where your mouth did. Because this guy clearly did not. Okay? So if you really want to help grow the women's game, if you really want to do that, you've got to put your money where your mouth is. Flavor Flab, he did not. Because I've seen nothing online. Okay? And I'm sure he's got a very big social media following. Why was he not maybe, posting about it? Okay? So, because as Billie Jean King says, you've got to see it to believe it, okay? So, how is this silence that we saw online, like this popular, how is that helping the cause? It's not. It's really not. And it just makes my blood boil. Because I think I could have done a much more better job here in my hotel in Manchester. We go to the streets of Manchester, or even maybe go Salford, okay? I could have done a better on that. And for lower costs, we would have done it on a lower budget. Could have done like a street party. Of course, that's what we're kind of famous for. In Blighty, not so much these days. But it's more the 20th century we were quite known for street parties. That's what I would have done. If it was me, what I would have done was either go to Manchester or Salford, would have organised a street party. We'd have a lovely spread. We would have music from artists whose songs have been used by the PWHL's goal horns. We would have that. We could have some fun and games. And I could have a little promotional stand where I basically get to have people come over. We can talk about the PWHL and what I do to help the PWHL. We could have that, and that could have been on a much lower budget than probably what Flavour did for his weekend that got zero press attention. Okay, so I could have done a much more better job than that, and on a lower budget. Okay, so yeah, so I just. It's really frustrating because I knew going into it that this week was going to piss me off because it was going to remind me of why we're doing it in the first place, which I've moved on from. And it's pissed me off even more because we've had zero press attention on it. So I'm just really not happy. Really not happy. So, yeah. You've messed with the wrong advocate, Flavour. You've messed with the wrong advocate. Okay. So, if we have any other things like that again, then they've got to be done better than that. Because seriously, what was the point? What was actually the point of Flavour Flab doing this weekend? Okay? Because really, what you posted back in February was basically just you mouthing off your response to what was a really disgusting joke. So you basically gave that administration power, because they're gonna go, look, we've got another one, guys, we got another one. That's another one upset. Okay, and that was the reason why I did not want to do that episode in the first place, because I know full well if I respond to that, if I in my full authentic cutthroat way, if I respond to that, I know everyone's going, oh, there's the eruption we've been waiting for. That's the response why we've got to him, okay? That was one of the big reasons why I did not want to do it, because I know if I respond, I'm going to look like the crazy guy. And the spotlight won't be on the disgusting joke, it would be on me, responding to a very disgusting joke. Because it was a disgusting joke. It should not have been said. Okay? But I've chosen to move on from it. I did do an episode on it, I did do my thoughts on it, I've moved on from it now, and I'm back to doing what I do best, which is obviously, play my part in growing the league. So there you go. But that's what now I think it was that Sarah did back in February. It was just basically he was just mouthing off. He let the administration get to him. This was his response, and it was a pathetic response because we got zero coverage on it. Like literally, radio silence, nothing, and yet it should have been plastered all over the socials. So he has literally not helped the cause. He has not, because everybody does watch women's hockey. Everyone does watch women's sports, but that weekend and the way it's been covered, that is not helping. That basically makes it go 2 steps backward because no one knew about it. No one paid attention to it. That does not help. That does not help. It does not help me. It does not help the PWHL. It does not help women's hockey at all. So, well done, Flavour. You've really shows up. So thank you very much. I didn't know who you were before February, and I don't know who you are now, but clearly, go and find something better to do with your time, rather than mouthing off on Twitter. Seriously, go and find something better to do. Okay? Maybe it's this guy. What even? I still don't even know what his credentials are to women's sports. What are they? I don't know. Somebody please, either... No, probably not the Cosby Tale. Somebody email the show, purplepodcast@gmail.com. Someone email me, what is Flavour Flav's credentials to women's sports? Because I don't think he's got any. I just think this was just another celebrity online mouthing off on Twitter because his leader, his commander-in-chief, said something naughty. Literally, you can do that anywhere in the world. We do it here. We do it here all the time. But that's because our parliamentary system just makes it too easy. In fact, I'm recording this on the day that Andy Burnham takes office, and I've just heard his speech, and I'm like thinking, oh come on. Pull the other one, Andy. It's got bells on it. God. Try and make him sound like he's not like any other crook, but he is. He is. Anyway, but no, one point I'm trying to make is we can do it here. We can mouth our audience here. It's a lot more fun. Okay. No. So just. We're gonna move on. Okay, move on. But thank you so much, Flavor Flap, for reminding me of that very dark week after the Olympics, because it was a very dark week in this household. Okay, there were a lot of tears, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of emotional distress, there was a lot of anxiety that's being put around. I'm kidding not. It was a very dark week in this household. Because we just come back from an amazing 3 weeks of Olympic competition. We're about to get. We were literally at the time 3 days away from getting back running with the PWHL, and then this disgusting joke gets put in the media circuit, and then basically all hell breaks loose, and it just played on me mentally because I basically broke my code. I did. I honestly, I'm ashamed to have done this. I broke my code, which was to not let anything mentally bottle up. Okay, I'm an emotional guy. I cannot hide an emotion. And oh god, okay, oh god. I'm getting upset now. Just thinking back on it. You know, I'm choking up there now. I'm actually getting upset just thinking about it again. Because I stupidly bottled up what I was feeling about that joke inside, because I just knew you cannot mouth off, you cannot sound off, you cannot do that, you cannot vent on the socials, you cannot do it on the podcast, you cannot, because you know. And I knew exactly what would happen if I came on a platform and just said what I felt about it. I would look like the crazy guy. I would look like the crazy guy. I would. Okay. Everyone will go, oh well, there was the eruption we were waiting for. That's what we wanted. We got him. And I couldn't do that. It was really horrible because that was basically against. Because basically I had to bottle up everything I felt about that joke inside, and that went against my moral compass. It went against my code. Okay, and I just felt like, oh. I think, and you know what? If it hadn't been Bethesda and Julia on Drop Stairs, if they had not talked about it, I probably would not have had the confidence to then go, right, I've got to do it. And try and find a way to do it without looking crazy. Which I think in the end I managed to do. In fact, I think I maybe ripped Ilya Rozdov to shreds more than I actually ripped the administration to shreds. Because I think at the end of the day, I was more angry at the SNL sketch than I was about the actual joke. Because with SNL, that to me was like, oh my god, why are you normalising it? It was not funny. Take the hint. I mean, great, you've got Megyn Kelly and Harry Knight there, although Megyn Kelly technically should have been playing for Boston Ottawa. Okay, great, you've got them there, but let's not normalise the joke. Let's not do that. Let's not normalise the joke. And I said it when I did an episode on that. If he just stuck to roasting his Shohei rivalry, fair game, and I would have found it funny. I would have found it more funny. But no, you bring the Hughes brothers out, you then bring Megyn and Harry out, and then oh my god, what are you doing? You should know better. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? What are you doing? Answer the postcard, please. Answer the postcard. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Yeah. So thank you so much, Clear Flab, for reminding me what what about what I felt during that dark week. Thank you so much. Okay, seriously, go fuck yourself. And the next time you want to do something for women's sports, have the decency to plaster it on social media for us. Literally, even if it's the people like me who don't follow you, just because we know how the algorithms work, you can literally be given content on your feeds to things that you don't follow. So we know how these algorithms work. So there's no way he could not have shared with everybody. He didn't follow it, okay? Because I don't follow him on social media, yet I still saw his post that got plastered on my timeline back in February. So you know what? Next time you want to do some women's sports flavor, do the decency to get people to plaster it on social media afterwards for you. Seriously. Honestly, what an absolute fucking joke. Fucking moron! Honestly. Because I would not have had any problems with a nice celebratory weekend for women's sports. I'd have loved it. But, no. I could have done a much better job. I could have easily put on a nice street party in Manchester or into Salford, and that would have been a low budget, but it would have got more attention. Okay? So, who knows? We might even do that one day. Who knows? But you know what? I'm going to leave it there because I'm just going to get more angry and shouty and probably end up saying some stupid words I'm not supposed to say. So let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. And can we now finally close the book on this distasteful, disgusting joke once and for all, please? Anyway, thank you for joining us. Next time, take care.